Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We are marching on with the goldfinch. We're really in pretty good shape. We've got it almost all textured. We did the underneath side of the tail and the top of the tail. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do the eyes. We're going to get the beak in shape as well, and I'll show you how to do that. And we will get this thing flying. We're going to get pretty close. So let me take you down with the camera, and I'll show you the rest of this. And we're getting closer to the finish, believe it or not. And as I usually give you my spiel again, I'm going to ask you, if you enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that greatly. And if you have anybody else that may be interested, that wants to do some birds or even animals, I do them too, although I've only done the otter so far. But I've done fish, I've done elk, I've done polar bears and baby polar bears in this setting and stuff like that. So I've done a lot of different things over a period of time. I do have kits for these items, and I have catalogs. So if anybody's interested in the catalog or something like that, if you write to me through my email, which is Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com, I will send out a catalog to you, and you can see what kits I have available or the equipment I handle, and I would make recommendations. I also sell bits and eyes and feet and so on for several different birds, and you name it, I got it. And if I don't, I'll put you on to where you can get it as well. I do have other items, like I have paints, and I have paint trays and brushes. If anybody's interested in that, definitely get a hold of me, and I'll try to guide you in what I think is a good buy and reasonably priced, okay? So please give me a thumbs up, if you will, subscribe to me, and we will march on the goldfinch. So bear with me. Okay, we're on our journey to do the eyes. Now, what I'm going to use right now, this is called quick wood, and this is for replacing wood and stuff like that, but it's a two-part epoxy, and you can burn this to an extent, and you got to be careful with the temperature. But what we're using this for today is we're going to use this as a filler for around the eyes. So I'm cutting just a sliver off this, and as long as it's a two-parter, so you want to make sure you get both parts. I'm only using a small amount because you really don't need that much. You need to knead it. The other thing you want to do is close the lid on these. And the quick wood works out pretty good. So I knead it to get it nice and soft and mixed. And hopefully I've mixed enough. I hate to mix too much of this, because if I took a whole slice off the roll, I could probably do about 10 birds. So I only take a sliver off, and that seems to work. Now, the only trouble with this is if you really have an eye that gets a little fancy, you may spend time, and I may have to throw away part of this. So let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to get a BB size ball and I'm going to stick it in the eye. And push that in there like that. Okay, so it fills the eye up. Now, I'm going to use a 4mm brown eye, which is what is the size for the bird. I'm going to slide that over on top here. I'm going to get what's the name? Pencil with an eraser on it. Usually I have a regular eraser, but this is one of these you can plug on. And what I'm going to do is going to push it inward. So I'm going to get this guy, and I want it to go straight in. And the one thing I didn't do, and I'll do it on the other side, is first you want to get the excess off, and you don't want to spread this all over the place. So I usually get the pencil point in and take some of this off like that, okay? Now I still have some putty around it, and I had made these holes big enough. That's what I was trying to get at. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm starting to put the cart before the horse. You're supposed to, and I'll show you on this side how it should fit in there properly, okay? Now, I've got some membrane all around the eye, so what I'm going to do is get my pencil point, and I'm going to dot it all the way around. Hope you can see this okay. This may be more than what I want anyway, so I'm going to clean some of it off just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit more than what I wanted. And then I'm going to use the pencil point to take some of the putty off the eye. Hope you can see this well. Now, when I got about that much around on the eye, and I hope you can see that okay, I'm going to just stipple it all the way around the eye, just like that. And that should do it. Now, here's what I should have shown you. Here's the other glass eye. And what you're supposed to do is put that on there. Now, see how that glass eye is sitting up off of that surface? That hole should be big enough to be able to take that glass eye straight in, and it doesn't. So I'm going to ask you to come in. I usually use a ball, which is a 4mm ruby, but it's really like a burnisher. And I'm going to come back in here, right in on the eye, and open that up a little bit more. Let me just see if this eye will fit in there now. Yeah, see how it's sunk in below the eye here? So I'm going to get that. That's what I should have done. The piece should, the back of the eye, when you stick it in backwards, should be inside the eye, okay? Not on the surface, just slightly below it. So here we go again. I'm going to put this and fill the eye up, the eye socket, I should say. Then I'm going to get my eye. I'm going to slide that right over to the center. And these are a 4mm brown eye. I'm going to push that in, and you'll see the putty oozes out. So let me get this over here. I'm going to come in and take some of this off. Okay, just like that. Okay. Now, you can see that this is recessed in. This is looking bug-eyed. So you want to push it in a little bit more. And you'll see the putty oozes out. Okay, I got this little remnant I'm going to get rid of before I start this. Okay. Now, with that little ring around there, this is what I do. I get my point of my pencil and I go in and I just stipple it around the eye. If it gets to be too much like it was on the other side, I'll come in and trim it, which it is over here. So you can get a sharp knife or something like that. And I'm just going to take just a little bit of that off, like that. And what I can do, also that helps, is to get a brush, and I wet the brush with some water, and just to smooth it out, I'll come in and go over just to soften the putty up. Should have done it on this side, but this is probably set now, and that's okay. That was the way I wanted it. But that's that's the look you're looking for. And I could see I missed a spot, so I'll come in and do a little more dabbing. There it is. And that's the eye I want for the goldfinch. And I want to make sure that this setting and this setting is roughly the same. Let me look from the top. You know what? This could go in a little bit more. I don't know if I did it early. I pushed it a little more. So let me go in and redo this while I got a chance, because I didn't get it in far enough. And you got to make both eyes to the same depth. Okay. Now, if it gets too wide, I'll take some of the excess off. And how I do that, first thing is to get rid of what I had on there. There's like a little bit too much on this end. I just come in and clean that up. There's a little bit over here. I'll take that off. Okay. Then a little bit right there. Now I'll get the wet brush again. Take the excess water off and brush it out this way. Brush it out that way. Come back in here. Now with some of the other birds I've done, it doesn't have this stippled effect around it. It just has a membrane around it. This, I tried to get a raised section around the eye. Seems to have it on the bird, so I tried to incorporate that on this one. Okay, so that's doing the eyes. Now, for doing the beak, we want the beak to have a bony look to it, okay? So I've sanded this all down, got the beak just the way I wanted it from the way we did it before on the other videos. So I'm asking you now that we're going to prepare this so that it gets a bony structure, and I'll show you how we create that. We get, as I was talking with a video back here, I get super glue from like a dollar store. These are inexpensive. You can get like 2 for $1.25 or something like that. And this has 2 parts to it. You puncture the seal under here. I don't want to take this off because the glue's already moving. And this is the applicator. So what you do is you squeeze a little bit back here and it comes out here, but you don't want to get it really coming like crazy. And if you get too much on the beak, aim it down so it doesn't run back onto the feathering, or the texture, I should say. Let it drip off of here if you have to. So, but you only want to get a little bit. See how I'm doing it here? I'm just applying enough that I let the applicator move it around, and I don't want to flood the area with it. I'm just getting very little. I hardly even squeeze this. It comes out pretty good. And when it does, it's very liquidy. It's not like other super glues. And what this does, you can see the color change on the wood. This soaks into the pores, and it gives you that bony look. It seals the pores, and then we'll sand this after we're all done and before we seal it. And it has a little bit of a glaze. And I don't know if you can see that reflecting some of the light. That should be good right there. So you just want to let that sit and do its job. It'll soak into the wood, and some of it will stay on the surface slightly. But what you do there is we sand it down just to take the glaze away. And that takes care of the eyes, and that takes care of the beak, okay? Like I said, this is going to set the beak up so that it's like it acts and seems like a bony structure, which is the way the beak does get. But you want to make sure you accomplished all that covered with the super glue, and not a lot, because it comes out fast. And if, like I said, if you get too much, you go that way. Let it drip off rather than go back in on your texture, because it gets in here and it'll fill the voids and you lose some of the texture, and you don't want to do that, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, because this super glue is going to take maybe, I don't know, I'll give it 10, 15 minutes to let it soak in there. I'm going to come back with a piece of sandpaper after it dries, and I'm not going to rush it now because it's still wet. And I'm going to sand it after it's dry. And then what I'm going to do, and I'm talking my way through this with you, I'm using one of these mandrels with the horsehair brush. And what I'm going to ask you to do after everything's dry and you've done the sanding, I'm going to ask you to brush this all out at half speed now. That's going to be like about 15,000 RPMs. Most of these machines I use are 35,000 to 45,000. So you want to go at least half speed on that. Come in, brush everything out, and you'll see this will get brighter. It'll get darker, I shouldn't really say. And you want to clean everything, even the breast area, and get all the dust out, okay? Now, let me get one other thing I want to show you. I use a Krylon spray. This is, I'm going to have to ask you to look back in some of my videos for sealing the birds, because I don't have the information right in front of me, and if I can get it on here, I will. But these numbers on here for this one is 1301. This is one of the original. It's 1301 crystal clear gloss, and that's what you want to use. That's this one here. Now, they don't call it this anymore. They put a 5 in front of the 1301, and they've since changed that formula too, and I'll try to get that in the body of my description to tell you what the latest number is. I did not prepare when I was making this video how the new number applies, but you want to get this one. And what I do is I take this off, and sure I do. Oop, something came off, but that wasn't it. I'm sorry. Let me get another one. That's not it either. Sorry about that. There we go. This is the 51301, and this is where you see it. It's right in here. It says 51301. But like I said, they changed the formula. So you pop this off, shake this real good, and then what you do is you hold the piece. After you've dusted it out and you did all your gluing and the eyes in, you hold the tail and you spray this about 6 inches away, and it'll look wet. I usually use my hands anyway. It gets on there, but if you want to put gloves on, you can. And you spray the tail afterwards, but you use the tail as the holder. And you do this outside, okay? Because the Krylon spray is a lacquer. It's it really comes on strong, and it penetrates around the house and stuff like that. So I always try to do it outside, and then bring the piece in and let it dry. After you spray it, I leave it for at least a half hour or more before I pursue on with the painting, okay? So I would like you to get a hold of that. It's a clear, and what this does, it seals the bird. Just like with the super glue, this seals this wood so that when we mix water with the acrylic paint, it won't swell up and you won't lose your detail, okay? So I like the Krylon spray. I've been using this forever. Now, there are other sources of sealers, and I did talk about this in one of my other videos, and I'll go back and look and see, and I'll make some of the recommendations in the description of this video in case you're looking for other sources, because I tried to sell this. I used to sell it, but you can't ship this through the mail anymore. The post office will not accept aerosol cans. So either you got to buy it locally or try a hardware store. Maybe Home Depot has it. I'm not sure, because sometimes some of them do, some of them don't. You can try Amazon. That's another source. And or your hobby stores. But make sure you get the one I recommend. And I'll try to give you the latest product number on that. And this one here is 51301, okay? So that's what I like to use. I stayed away from gesso. I used to use gesso a lot years ago and then got away from it because gesso, even though I water it down so much, it tends to still fill the voids up and you lose some of your detail. Some people love it, and I've just got away from it. So I like the process I do. And then I'm going to show you, like on the next video, we will be starting the painting here because we got everything basically done. Oh, one other thing I forgot that needs to be done. The burning. Let me show you. This is the last part that needs to be burnt. On the underneath side of the wings here, these have to be textured. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to come in and texture on the underneath side of this wing on this side here and get this all the way back and under all the way through here. And then you can see as you're coming up, you just got to get the point in there. And you're doing this on a 45 this way, up into it, like this. And you just want to get the point in. You don't want to start texturing the breast, because the breast is all done. This is just completing the burning that needs to be done. Now, I've already done some on the other side, and you can see that in here. This is all done. It's 45 in this way. And you come all the way down into here. Okay, on a 45-degree angle. And that should do it. And you want to have all this burnt before you do the sealing and everything else. And then what I'll show you as a sealer on top of this is a white base. Instead of using gesso, I'm going to use titanium white paint and water. And we'll paint this all white. And I'll show you how to do that on the next video. But the eyes are here, the beak is done, and we've completed all of the texturing that we need to do for this bird. So I hope you got something out of this video. I try to guide you in the right direction here, and you want to make sure that these eyes are in the same depth on both sides. You want to make them, and you don't want them bug-eyed so that the glass eye is coming out. I mean, really popping out. You want to push these in a little bit. And then, like I said, if you want to have a nice pencil point, you don't want something really, you want it like thin, and you want an eraser on the end so that you can push this in, and the putty will move, will squeeze out, and then take away some of the original putty and take that away, and then squeeze it again to where you think it's proper for both sides to look exactly the same. And then you can stipple it with the point, and you want to get fairly thin, but that's how I approach it. Okay, so like I said, I hope you got something out of this one. If you did, I would ask you to give me a thumbs up if you would, and if you would subscribe to my channel. pass the information on to any of your friends. That would be really helpful. And let them know what I'm doing. And if they have an interest in birds or animals and stuff like that. I have several videos out, series of them for different birds. And I'm doing more as we go, okay? And I'm going to also ask any of my audience, if you have a preference for a certain bird or something like that, I would say in the comments section of this video, if you could put your comments down, I'd appreciate any comment, either pros or con of what I've done. And if I didn't explain myself well enough, I would ask you to ask me questions about that. And if you have a preference for maybe what we should do on my next series or something like that, I'll take that in and see what I think. If there's enough interest in one of the birds out there that I haven't done, I will try to accommodate you. So, again, if you need to get a hold of me, my email is in the body of the description of this video. And you can also get me, and I'll give you my email address. It's Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7 @gmail.com. So, hope to see you on the next video, and I think we're going to be painting. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video.